It's muffled.
Jason, if you can hear us, unmute yourself and let me know.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a tiny bit muffled, but it doesn't sound terrible.
Okay.
There is a lot of background noise.
Can you hear us okay, Tom?
I can hear you, but there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah, there's lots of background noise. There's a lot going on in the room. Yes. Okay, good.
I had to hop off to set up the Facebook feed, but I'm back. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Karen.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing okay.
Hi, Tom.
How are you, Karen?
Good. Trying to decide whether it's warm enough today to sit outside. It's kind of got that wind. It's got a little bit of a chill to it.
Yeah.
At least it's not windy like it was the other day.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Terrible.
The UNLV held their Hall of Fame event outside, serving dinner.
Oh, good.
Let's say everyone was blown away.
I'll say. Was the food left on the table?
Yeah, I don't know how they managed it. They had a podium that was in an alcove, so the speakers at least were able to fix their hair before they got on camera.
It's awful.
It was pretty neat. Anne Margaret was their honoree.
Oh, that must have been interesting.
Yeah.
How does she look?
She looks pretty good. She's 80 years old. And we took a look on Google where they had a bunch of her photos and stuff. So you can see that she looks a little older than when she did Viva Las Vegas with with
yeah,
Elvis.
She looks a little older anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, she pretty remarkable, interesting kind of discussion. I guess she married to her husband for I think almost 50 years, and he recently passed away. Bad. So it's kind of a big change in her life. But.
Hi, Judy.
Hey.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed in Lowry's, huh?
Well, it's kind of interesting having the hybrid meetings because there's probably about 60 people in the room, and we get about a dozen to 20 on Zoom.
Yeah, although they sold out, I think, last week.
Yeah,
they did, and probably this week too, because they were getting down there.
Yeah, and the Zoom population is not dropping real fast, but at some points we were up to 25, and now we're like 11 to 15, something like that.
Well, I'm going to try to go back next week, so I'm heading for that anyway. I hope I can do it.
Get that club back in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're heading back to an old normal pretty quickly. I hope so anyhow.
So, Stu, have you gone inside a restaurant?
So we went for the first time. We had dinner at the Americana up at Desert Shores, I guess it's called. And we sat outside on the patio last week.
But you haven't gone inside a restaurant yet?
No, not yet. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to. We're just kind of being a little
Yeah, I
timid.
haven't gone inside yet either. I've been outside. Yeah.
I guess the closest to inside was last week we were driving back from Summerlin and we stopped at a Chicago hot dog retail storefront. Harriet sat outside at one of the tables and I went in and picked up the hot dog and brought it out. It was worth
I'm
it.
sure. I'm sure.
Worth taking the risk. And the French
Mm.
fries were good too.
I bet.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat that the migration of people who either move here or snowbird here seems to be a lot from the Midwest, where like when we lived in the Northeast and Philadelphia and Boston, the migration was down to Florida. Here it seems to be from the Midwest. They come into
Yeah.
Las Vegas. There aren't too many like Jim Hunt and Marie and myself who come
Yeah.
from the East Coast.
Well, I came via Canada. Doesn't that count?
No.
Yeah, Canada and
You know, Canadians don't
Canada
count.
and the Midwest. Yeah.
People get out of Canada, huh?
Oh yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
I got a text the other day from a lady that was our translator with the Ukrainian ladies, and she's in Montana, and she said my flower pictures on Facebook were driving her nuts because it was still snowing there.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. My parents lived down in Florida for a while, and along with my in-laws as well. They had this annual migration of people from mainly Montreal, some from Toronto, who would come down there to escape the snow, and the other migration was from South America, particularly Venezuela, where completely different reason they would come up because down in Venezuela they had to leave behind a walled armed guards. It was so corrupt and dangerous, and they'd come up and they'd have a villa in Fort Lauderdale or Pompano Beach where it was safe. They could let their kids play outdoors and this sort of thing, and then but all their wealth was down in Venezuela, so they didn't give up their citizenship. But they had 4 different neighbors on either side of them that were all from Venezuela.
I have to go there.
Pompano Beach. It's safe to travel again, though.
yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope.
So many restrictions.
Well, you
Going
know
back-
what the real indicator is. The real indicator is the TSA reports how many of their agents are infected with
Oh,
COVID,
God.
and
Mhm.
you know, it's virtually zero now. But it kind of 6 months ago it was a very high number. So it's if it's safe for them, it must be safe for the people who are entering the airport.
I just went to Philadelphia. It was the airport was pretty crowded. I was surprised, but felt safe. Everyone was using their mask. Everybody was trying to do social. Well, there wasn't such thing as social distancing, but
Judy, were the people social distancing themselves in the airport?
not necessarily. But there's big groups. Your groups are together. But I did notice, like when you're walking through the airport and you saw somebody coming towards you, they kind of moved over a little bit. And
Right.
everyone was wearing masks. It really wasn't a problem with that at all.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the airplane, they were requiring everybody to wear a mask unless they were drinking water or something, and they gave you water about this big, not much water, so you couldn't drink it for very long.
Yeah.
That was it. So I felt safe.
I think they say the airplane itself is about one of the safest places you can be because they have high volume circulation through
Mhm.
HEPA filters, but the thing that always frightened me was the terminal, getting in and out of the terminal.
Mhm.
McCarran did not do a very good job of maintaining social distancing.
No.
When we flew into Boston, they had yellow tape on every other seat, and they kept people far apart, but they didn't in McCarran.
Mm-mm. No.
No, I'm gonna
Not
try to
having
go to LA the beginning of May, so I'm planning on it. I hope I can do it.
Are you going to drive there?
No, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly. I'm going there for Mother's Day, so
Oh, nice.
I'm hoping I can do it. I'm planning on it. We'll see.
I think it's pretty safe. I mean, I did not feel unsafe at all.
Yeah, yeah. By then
Well,
it should be a little better, I hope.
Mhm.
I got my second shot yesterday, so we're celebrating, and April 30th, we're going to Hawaii.
Good for
Ah,
you.
Good for you.
Wonderful. Karen, how are you feeling today? Okay?
Very sleepy.
Sleep. Yeah, I had to stay on the couch the day after the whole day. I couldn't get up. I was so tired.
Well, I tried doing sleepy this morning, and I went back to bed about 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't happening.
Yeah,
So I just got up. So
that's all that happened to me. I was just very tired for a whole day.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, that's all.
You ever take naps? I took a nap. Mhm.
and the arm is sore, but not nearly as sore as the shingle shot.
Oh, yeah, that's the killer, that shingle shot. That's the
Yeah.
killer.
I feel badly that neither my wife or myself had any reaction, even a sore arm. When it makes you wonder, like, did we get a was it effective? I would have felt better if I was like sick for a day. I would have known it was working.
Yeah.
Well, my 96-year-old dad got it. No problems. Both shots, no problems. My sister got it, and she almost ended up in the hospital. But she's 4'6" and has the inside's like a child. Like she only takes child doses of everything.
Oh,
Bad reaction, and it's amazing. But my 96-year-old dad, nothing.
she probably should have waited for the children's shot.
Probably so. She
Yeah.
cannot take any full strength of anything.
Yeah,
Little thing.
poor thing.
They say the younger you are, the more of a reaction you have.
Well, that's why I didn't have a reaction.
And me too.
I didn't either.
I'm too old for that.
I didn't either. My parents did not. My wife was a little under the weather the next day. Had a headache and stuff, but 4 shots of espresso and a latte later, she was okay.
That fixes everything.
It does.
The Facebook feed just came up. Some reason it was delayed. I don't know why.
Hi, Ginger.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's been a long time.
I know. My life is calming down, so I think I'm gonna be able to come back full time. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, wonderful.
I know, I miss it.
I understand Mayor Goodman has to leave early, so I think the meeting is probably going to start with her.
Oh, okay. Oh, hello there. Oh, look at everybody. Oh,
Is she term limited?
Our mayor.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I know
Yes,
me-
she is, Stu. This is her last
Is
term.
he?
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Are there any more Goodmans out there to take her place?
No, I'm voting for Stavros Anthony.
Okay.
Is that what it is? Okay, wonderful. It's kind of interesting. Both Oscar and her are, I guess, registered Democrats, but they've been in kind of a war with Sisolak about overreach for closing down the city.
Testing. Those of you on Zoom, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can. Yep,
Yes.
Hi, Jim.
we're going to go on mute.
Ladies and gentlemen, ring the bell. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I'm new at this. Be kind. Okay. My name is Mike Ballard. I'm your president-elect for the 2021-2022 year. I appreciate the privilege to be here and to be, for today, leading the greatest Rotary Club in our solar system. Okay. On this day in 1912, the RMS Titanic hit a giant iceberg, and more than half of its voyagers passed away. Also on this date, on a more happy note, in 1958, Walter O'Malley, at his initiative, arranged for the LA Dodgers and the San Francisco Giant to play the first Major League Baseball game in the Western United States. Pretty awesome. You didn't know that. And congratulations, all of us. Our taxes are not due today. They're due on May 17th. So just as a point of note, so you get your time frame set, our speaker today, as you should know, based on our programs on the table, is Mayor Goodman. She will be joining us shortly and speaking almost immediately, and then she'll have to leave by 1 o'clock. So we'll do our announcements and some other business afterwards. I'd like to invite Bill Styron to come up. He's offering our invocation. And afterwards, we'd have our patriotic song and the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill, you be here. Great.
Please join me. Lord, in the recent days of the pandemic, many have felt powerless. However, today we want to thank you for inspiring our frontline healthcare workers who give care and compassion to every patient. We thank you for the vocation, knowledge, wisdom, and enabling our tirelessly hardworking scientific community for developing the vaccine that is taking us out of these dark days. We thank you for giving us Rotarians here and everywhere the resilience and purpose to do what we can to help in our community. Soon, the dark days of the pandemic will be in the past, and those that felt powerless will have a bright, sunny future again. Finally, Lord, we want to thank you for the abundance of sunshine today that's putting a smiley face on all of us. Amen.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank everybody that's helped today's meeting get started. Our setup and greeters were Susan Ziobro, Judith Pinkerton, and Michael Mewborn. Our Sergeant of Arms will be Sarah Thornton. Our raffle ticket sales was Tina Bishop. Tear down this afternoon will be Kate Zavala and Sarah Thornton. Our scribe for the meeting is Susan Ziobro, and our photographer is Mr. Jim Tucker. So everybody, please give a hand to all the people that have volunteered to help us. Okay, do we have any guests of Rotarians today? Sarah, are you ready? Let's go. Okay, if you have a guest, raise your hand high. Let's start with right there. You just passed one, Sarah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to introduce Nancy Anderson. She's here for her second visit and has submitted her application for membership.
Welcome, Nancy.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce my friend Veronica, who is visiting us today. Why don't you tell them what you do?
Hello, everybody, and Mayor Goodman, thank you so much. I'm Veronica Scala with Landmark Recovery. I do business development for addiction and mental health care. I work mostly with the big employers like you to take care of your beloved employees.
Welcome, Veronica.
Welcome.
Okay, if I need to remind everyone, Veronica was a little more bold, but you're not supposed to hold the microphone so Sarah's going to hold it.
Thanks, Sarah. Hey, hello, everybody. My name is Bill Houghton, and I'd really like to introduce Jason Ingerhofer. He's with Xerox. His company, my company, just did a whole bunch of work together, and I've been telling him about Rotary, and he was really excited to come out and meet our club and be part of our lunch today. So welcome him.
Thank you. Great. Any more guests of Rotarians?
My guest is Ivy, my girlfriend, my right hand for the Wheelchair Foundation, and she's looking to see if she can become a member too.
Wow. Thank you.
I have my guest, Ruth Jarozinski, a retired nurse, a 50-year resident of Las Vegas, and my best friend.
Welcome.
Great. Welcome. Any more guests of Rotarians? We have one more guest of Rotarian over here. Sarah?
Don't touch it.
Hi, everyone. This is my good friend, John King, here as a guest. He's with Avis and Young.
Okay, John, welcome. Okay.
Mike, I have a guest on Zoom.
Great. Let's start with, where'd she go? Karen Wisenhunt. Go ahead. Introduce your guest, Karen.
I am pleased to introduce Judy Atkin, a former member from our Rotary Club and the owner of Caricature Entertainment. And her husband, a very talented artist, has done caricatures for us for many years, probably about 15 years. So welcome back, Judy.
Great. Thank you, Judy. We see you up there. Michael.
I'd like to introduce you to my friend Steve Moss. Steve, tell me what you do.
Hi, everybody. I'm a freelance producer, director of broadcast television and live streaming concert events.
Great. Thank you very much. Welcome all our guests. Okay. Visiting Rotarians. Do we have any Rotarians visiting from other clubs? We've got a couple, one over here. Jim Cole, I thought you were a member of our club.
She said, don't run. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
I'm just our Facebook monitor, and Kirk Holmes is joining us from South Carolina. So welcome, Kirk.
Okay. Thank you. Any other visiting Rotarians? Okay. As we announced earlier, thank you very much, Sarah. We are going to turn over the time to Mr. Tom Thomas, who's going to introduce our speaker today. Thank you.
Well, the mayor of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman, doesn't need an introduction. However, I think when we look back over the tenures, both of Mayor Goodman and her husband, Oscar, it's going to be easy for history to point out that this was the greatest time of prosperity, economic growth, the growth and reinvention, at least twice that I can count, of our economy and our city. But I know more importantly to Mayor Goodman, it will also, especially her tenure, go down historically as the time in which Las Vegas took on and conquered some of our most difficult challenges, childhood education, food insecurity for many in our valley. And Mayor Goodman's, one of her biggest projects recently that is going so well is how to combat homelessness and provide a direction out of this very difficult time for so many who are in our community. So it's really a pleasure for me to have Mayor Goodman here with us. She has, as you might guess, probably the busiest schedule in Las Vegas. So it's an honor to introduce our mayor, Carolyn Goodman.
Wow, it's so good to see people together. Oh my gosh. And for anybody who's worried, I have no germs. I'm old enough. I got shots nice and early. And we were told, you know, you'll have a sore arm for your first shot. And we're not quite sure what's going to happen on your second because we've had people taking different vaccines. And so they react differently. So we woke up in the morning and I turned to Oscar and I said, "How do you feel?" And he said, "You know, I feel great. How do you feel?" I said, "I have more energy this morning. I know we got a placebo." So anyway, hopefully, if in fact you choose to get a vaccination, you do. I know the one thing none of us were told was, how long does it last? Does anybody know how long the vaccines last? No. So the whole thing's been, from my perspective, and I have learned by the ripe old age that I am, that, and my mother had always told me, you have no opinion until you're 40. Once you're 40, you can open your mouth and contribute. And she was a wonderful lady. But she also, with my father, said, don't marry Oscar. It will never last. It's a terrible choice. And this June, it will be 59 years. And for those of you who ever been to some of the celebrations here, if he and I are on the mics together, I always remind everybody we have very large doors to our home. It's because his ego's so small. I wanted to make sure he could fit in. But he is used to being loved. A Jewish boy by a Jewish mother. Everything's about the boys, forget the girls. And so every morning when we wake up, I get out of bed and go to his side of the bed and applaud. So he knows he's loved and he can go through his days. Nothing has changed. And believe me, if you're clapping for me after 59 years, I deserve every single clap. But the best part was, after 35 years in the criminal law practice and representing those of alleged organized crime, he decided, because some of his clients had been murdered, and you may know the name Tony Spilatro, he decided that, and he never crossed any lines that I know of, even though they were sent in wired by the FBI to try and catch him in something. But I can assure you, very honorable. He said, I think I want to run for mayor. What do you think? And we have 4 children. And so we had a family discussion and everybody said, no, there's more baggage with you than at the airport. And so don't run. Well, anyway, you know, he did run, and he is, he's just great fun. He's brilliant, artistic. He's wonderful. And he served his 12 years. And as he was termed out, my grown children by that time said, so now what? And Oscar said, you recall, he took office in 99. And so he was on the time when the money was coming down from the sky. We were doing so well here, 2002, 2004. And then we hit 2008. And so that was the first bump, Tom, that really, when the mallet was passed to me, my first thing was I was in the depths of that 2011 recession. And my children said, you know, Dad has worked so hard, you have to run. I said, I don't have any interest in a political office. And in those days, because Oscar's the person he is, he never had, and for those of you who've heard me speak before, mention his business card, which was a $100 poker chip. And I told my children, you know, I'll run, but I'm only going to run if you guarantee me if I win, I will have $1,000 poker chips for my business card. So outside here or over here on the table, I brought some booklets, but a good luck mayor chip, good luck, good health to each of you who've had the temerity to be here today to listen to me babble. So, but I do wish that to you. And from those of you from out of state, you are here at the right time. We are so ready for this. We are so ready. The energy and the people, whether they're from somebody was South Carolina. Who is South Carolina? Somebody from. Oh, it was on Facebook. Well, so why aren't you here? This isn't good enough for the 5 of you? You're missing a delicious meal with wonderful servers. Or is it delicious? Yes, it's, except you're not eating yours. What's wrong with your plate? No, you can hear me. I'm very loud. So when I asked Tommy and I asked Carolyn, who always greets me as Carolyn, it's the other Carolyn. We know we have good names. I said, what do you want to hear about? And you cannot possibly imagine what it's like, because Tommy just spoke about it. Oscar did 12 years. And because a change and a vote of the elections, I get 13 years. So I beat Oscar, which I love. We're very competitive, but that does give us a quarter century of Goodmans as mayor of the city, which is, I pinch myself every once in a while and think, what is this? What have we seen? Who are these people that choose to come here and live here? Because you're the backbone of our entire community. And every one of us, and I know or knew from the very early days, Peggy Thomas, his mom, your whole family of Thomases, what a great family who were so instrumental going back to that generation with having built this community and giving opportunities, so many opportunities to all of us, because no matter where you come from, I'm from New York City, the heart of Manhattan, you wait in line for everything forever. You can't get a seat in anything. And here you come here because you want to be part of a life, whether it's making a business or doing something in the arts or doing something in sciences. You want to be here where things are constantly happening. It's a 24-hour town, and it is never dull here. And so we've put up with a whole year of what it's been like. And out of that negative time of the year, we have learned so much. And we know what we treasure, what we value, and how exciting it is, what the future looks like back here. We're going to be explosive, but it's a very different mentality now. And this town, we can feel it. I did not miss a day of work during the whole pandemic. My staff, my full staff was in, one of whom did get sick with COVID. And, but other than that, we were all there doing the work and handling the calls of so many people who are losing their small businesses, life savings, family savings, and out of work. And then these tragic, tragic stories of all these people out of work that couldn't even get their due money from unemployment. You can't even imagine the tales of people who had never asked for a handout in life, not able to get monies that were due to them. And the system was down, the personnel changed. There was so much going on. It was appalling. And the only thing I can say I've learned, and there are, if in fact you hit 40, as my mother said, and you're allowed to have your opinion, that I'm 82 years of age, I think I can say what I say, knowing for all of you that I know what I know. And by this age, believe me, I know what I know. I know also what I think I know. And I will always tell you what I think I know. So that means don't trust a word yet till you find out. And then I absolutely 100% know what I don't know. And I should keep my mouth shut and not go into other people's business. This handling of COVID in this state, in Southern Nevada, was appalling. Absolutely. And that I say because I've lived it, I know it, and I know the medical community. I know what's happened. On March 17th at City Council, I begged that don't shut us down. We have one industry, we have lots of things going on, but we're a one industry place. We're 75 to 80% of the population down here, and we generate 75 to 80% of the funding. Don't do it. You can't kill us. And please, of all things, don't close the schools. The fallout, which you'll read, and the whole thing I'm asking, I trust you implicitly, not quite as much as Oscar. But please keep an eye on the time, because when I get turned on and start going, I'd rather be here talking with all of you and then getting to your questions about what's important. But the suffering in this community, we had COVID here in the world on March 17th. What's still here? The vaccines. We're just getting the vaccines. I pray and I feel great. I've got so much energy and I feel great, and I pray it holds. We don't know. The social media and the media have absolutely not been fair to us to tell us the truth. Why don't we know? And for those of you, nobody was born before me in here. And so I can tell you unequivocally that Franklin Delano Roosevelt, that you all remember, was the president back in the 30s, got polio. When I was a little girl, polio was around this country. They did not shut down anything. There have been other diseases, other things that have happened. The ramifications of shutting us down in this community when we don't have farming and we don't have other industries to rely on that can sustain us was a killer, and it was done without proper planning. How do you, if you have a child or a sibling and you went to the beach and they said, let me bury you in the sand up to your neck? You better know before you let that person bury you how to get out with only your head sticking out. We didn't have it, but here we are a whole year and 3 months later. And so why are we opening up to 100%? Why is it? How do I know that you, oh, you had a bite, good, that you don't have COVID, and which 100 people, which 1,000 people do I let in? And how can I take with 16 people in my immediate family, which at the point that I could only have 6, which 6 do I choose? And now we're at tables of 10. I hope you've all cleared yourselves, that you're in good health, because one of you may not be in perfect health, and we don't know that the germ isn't going to recur. It is here. It is a disease. It is highly contagious. We know that. That has been proven again and again. But when you look at this and you look at the percentage, 40 million people have taken the Johnson and Johnson. 8 people, and no deaths have been, or maybe I think I heard this morning there might have been 1 death. 40 million people have had the vaccination. So you have to, we're intelligent people. We ask questions. We have a right to determine our own lives, not to put other people in jeopardy. And if in fact you want to stay home and you're scared, stay home. Nobody has a right to dictate to somebody else unless it's harmful. So I know I'm already using up time babbling along. So what's going on in the city, what's going to happen with COVID. I can assure you in the city of Las Vegas, we have been 100% compliant with vaccinations, with distance separation, with sanitization. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently. We cannot control every human being in the world, and that is not our intent. Our intent in the city is to respect each human being with the dignity that they deserve and the right to make as many decisions as long as it doesn't harm somebody else as they can. And so we have been, anything you read in the paper, you call my office, I have the best office. They will tell you 100% compliance. But look at the bravery of the people who've gone right on with all the construction that's been going on around in this community, at least keeping us somewhat alive in our ability to sustain the economic devastation to which we've been subjected. Construction has continued. In fact, we are finishing up, I think in a week, 10 days, we're opening a new municipal court. If you look downtown into the heart of the city, where all roads lead to downtown, and the energy and excitement of what's happening, because people have changed through this. They want to be with other people more than ever before. They want to be able to access businesses, restaurants, taverns, things to do where they can go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. The investment in the heart of downtown is unreal. It is, and yet we lost Tony Shea, who was a big investor in downtown. And yet we have so many opportunities. The Expo, the World Market Center, today completes the very first convention that's come back here to the city. Very successful. And they opened up a 350,000 square foot convention space right there on Symphony Park, right adjacent to it. Facts that you may not know, which makes us the envy. One of the most successful business investments in the city and in the community, believe it or not, has been the premium outlets, downtown discount mall. They drop by bus, RTC bus, not talking Lyft or Uber or private vehicles or cabs. 1,400 to 1,800 visitors a day. And then we in the city have what's called the Loop, which we started 3 years ago, where you get on the Loop, it takes you all around down anywhere in the heart of the city on a route from Sahara into the hotel district. But it stops in our arts district where we are replete with wonderful new restaurants. We're going to be opening Brewery Row, all these antique shops. And the people that come down there, all ages, I mean, it amazes me at nighttime with these festoon lighting, you can see them. The Golden Entertainment, which is Blake Sartini and his group, as you know, bought the Stratosphere, renamed it the Strat. And the energy from that Sahara Las Vegas Boulevard, which is now torn up because we're putting in a new, connectivity is the best way to discuss it. But there is going to be a walkabout. We're getting all the traffic off all the pedestrian traffic off the street at Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. Can't happen soon enough. But that is the gateway coming down. And for those of you who've been downtown at night, we have these arches that look very much like St. Louis, but they're lit up and they're all technologically attuned so we can make them any colors that we want. And then there's a showgirl gateway sign. And if you go down Main past the Strat, you're right into the heart of the arts district, which, as you know, culture is critical. Medical care, what are we doing? And I'm sorry to be jumping, but I'm on a timeline and I've got to give you the information. We have, as you know, the medical district downtown. Level 1 trauma, the only level 1 trauma in Nevada is right there at UMC. So we're streetscaping, we're widening, we are having a rapid transit bus routing that goes from the east side of town straight into the medical district, where, of course, we now are graduating our first first class of UNLV medical school students. And that looks to, and it's all about the businesses. Every human being that comes here to live, to work, to do anything needs support businesses. And whether it's the cleaner, or whether it's food, or whether it's barber shop, whatever it is, everybody that comes in here that works in these different districts, that's why it's so explosive downtown, because we are building apartments. And I'm not talking about what's going out in the county and in Henderson with the major league sports and the thousands of apartments that are being built, and the numbers of people that are coming in here from shut down California, where the cost of living's through the roof, and they realize what they pay for a 1.5 bedroom apartment, they can buy a 3,000 square foot home here in Nevada, and especially in the South. So the things that are going on in the medical district, that are going on in Symphony Park, we have 2 complexes that are just now complete next to the Frank Gehry Design Lou Ruvo Institute for brain health. And there are 2 apartment complexes that are in there. One's it's from Southern Land out of Nashville, and the other one's Aspen Heights out of Texas. And multi-mixed use for retail space. We've built new garages. The high-end Marriott is going to be building a hotel right in that area. And Tommy talked about the homeless. That's another area we're working on. But because of the way Symphony Park has been developed, and many of you helped us build the Smith Center for Performing Arts, which is now scheduling reopening, thank heavens. All those people out of work, just a crime. But all of that coming back with garage space, retail mixed use, and World Market Center, premium outlets. But what is really interesting right now, a couple of things. We are the center of government. We in the city are the center of government. You got the federal courthouse. You have the state building on Stewart. You have the county building. You have City Hall. All the courthouses, the jails are downtown. So when there are uprisings, and we've been through that, as you know, we've been through these situations, that the overflow of hate and anger that has gripped the country in so many ways, we will get reaction from that. But they want to complain at the government level. So that is a real draw. But that is the heart of business, and government is in the center where all roads lead, downtown. And that is why the medical district's there, a cultural center is there. Safety is of prime concern for us. And all the attributes or negatives that other cities have, and dealing with the situation of the homeless has become critical. You know, we had the tragedy of 1 October. I never saw a community come together as this community did. And that healing garden that's down there on Charleston and 2nd Street shows a love of humanity of the people that live here for this community, those we lost, the tourist visitors and our own people. When you see that healing garden, the city, only thing the city did was give the funds. That entire project was done by the humanity of this great community. And it's something to see and feel. It's a peaceful place, and it is just incredible. But when you look at the homeless population, and I can assure you, because I've spoken to enough law enforcement from other municipalities, they have underlying urging to bring the homeless down into the heart of the city, because that's where we have our homeless courtyard. We have the wonderful Catholic Charities that is into its 80th year, believe it or not, here, Catholic Charities, with their help and their food pantry, 3 Square, everybody operating together to help this very vulnerable population. But who is the vulnerable population? Our veterans. We have Arnold Stalk and Share Village, who's been working so diligently over the past 11 years, trying to help veterans get back into life of worth and integrity and be part of the good things that we can enjoy. We have a population, of course, of runaways, homeless young people who are now into their teens. We have a drug and alcohol population that half the time doesn't even know where it is. We have our severely mentally challenged, where the United States of America back in the 50s closed down all the sanitariums. And these are people that hurt themselves, will hurt others. And that is part of our homeless population, which yesterday I convened a group in this city because I trust our city workers to know each other and get things done. Don't go into it unless you can make a plan where you can be successful and have a result. All of you are involved in lives. I know you go to meetings, as I do all the time, and you have another meeting and another meeting and another meeting. Then somebody follows in, you're no longer elected or you're no longer functioning in your role. Somebody comes in again after you and they have meetings. And what do you have to show for all your meetings? You have binders by the hundreds. And where are the results? Why do you keep having, I don't mean you, I mean us all. Why do we keep having these meetings unless you can have results, be effective, and do something? This population that is the lost generation of severely mentally challenged are trying to struggle to find a piece of bread. They don't know that I shouldn't be stealing your water, and I don't care if I hit you in the process of doing it. They don't know what they're doing. They need a place to be, which is sanitary, where they're fed, where they're cared for. This is another area that I am extremely committed to helping. They're in the hospital beds that all of us may need. And then what happens? The hospital has to give them money to send them somewhere. Where do they go after taking up a hospital bed? And that hospital bed and those nurses and those doctors are a cost. And yet it's a revolving door. And we all sit around and say, oh my gosh, this man's demented, or this woman. There was a woman killed 2 years ago on an overpass by Reed Whipple. He was totally out of it. The man had no idea what he's doing. And we just pass the buck again. So the time is all of these things we created, and I've left some booklets there. And if you need anything, you just call City Hall. But there are so many pockets. I mean, to get into the education problem, it is so beyond, we could be here a whole week. And I could tell you the truth of what the issues are. In 1964, when Oscar and I came here, the Clark County School District was number 2 in the country. Number 2, only shadowed out by New Trier Township in Illinois. We were number 2. We're now 47, 48, 49. And anybody who knows anything about behavioral development, you can't put probably half of us online learning unless you're really interested and very mature to stay attuned to what you're trying to learn, because you're looking at a boob tube right there. Great tools. Let me tell you, the best tool that ever came down the pike is technology. Instant, life-saving sometimes, instantaneous information. You can't beat it. But what's happened is you cannot take a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old and expect them to learn a thing online. There's no way. I have 4 children, they're 38 months apart, and I was Hitler at home when it came time to learning and doing your homework. And they are the results. And for those of you who don't know, my oldest boy's an MD, PhD in oncology and research, prostate cancer research. My second child is an attorney, probably one of the most aggressive, annoying attorneys in town. Nobody can work with him, but by gosh, he is fabulous. My third son's an attorney also, and he happens to be a justice of the judge, a justice of the peace. And my daughter, being the youngest, is a family therapist who did undergraduate and graduate school at Stanford and in business and didn't feel she was touching people. The miracle is they're adopted. 8 genetic different pools of people. Don't tell me with good parenting and love that every child who comes into this world that is loved and wanted can have a great life if, in fact, the country, the county, the nation, the city provides equitable, fair education for them to learn and be productive. And so there's so many things. I have no idea what I've not touched on. I told you about the Muni Courthouse. I've done some things. I didn't tell you about John S. Park, which is an old neighborhood. I know you remember it. The Huntridge Theater, and that is being revived and such fun. And that whole neighborhood is so thankful. People who've continued to live in the John S. Park neighborhood, absolutely, it's going to be so exciting and fabulous. Then we are rehabbing, for those of you who do come into the heart of the city, down the 95 one way or another. From the east side to downtown, we have to reshore up the foundation. And so there's talk about bringing it down to grade level. How would that help the community? But that's one of the projects that's constantly we're looking at and evaluating with NDOT and our regional transportation system. You may not know, but you may know that the city about 5-6 years ago embarked on becoming an international technology center. And that has been thriving in the heart of downtown. Countries participating, Korea, Switzerland, Japan, Israel, there's a number. And so we are so far ahead of these opportunity zone creations that are strictly technology, because it's been happening in the downtown, but learning from everything that's going around the country. Technology is hot, and technology will be hot, and it is the greatest tool that we've ever been afforded. But it is not the panacea to life and to human relations and to educating children. You have to want to learn virtually. You have to be very interested in it. And so our arts district, I came from, which is why, unfortunately, I was not late because I have a great marshal to pick me up. I was in the historic West Side, which is early on when we came here, the city was absolutely segregated. And the West Side is still the West Side, but we're working very conscientiously to improve all quality of life. We have just mounted 2 beautiful statues as an entry to the Arts Center, there, and wonderful things afloat. But we have since integrated, and we have had awards in the city of Las Vegas. And actually, when we say Las Vegas, we mean all Southern Nevada, as one of, and the large city of diversity in the country, because we have more nationalities, more cultures, more races, more religions, more opinions, probably than anywhere else. And the pride of what we can take because we consider ourselves a family. It's just so exciting and enlightening, and the pride of it. And there isn't any me, I, my, it's us. It's all of us together. But it does take a family and people to raise a child. Some people and some children have been raised by villages. But if you are part of a village, you can always pass the buck. And it goes back to the fact every child needs to be wanted and cared for, and somebody responsible for that child until that child's an adult. And we need to make sure they're equitably brought up with the same opportunities. And then it's up to the parent to make sure that that child is doing the best that they can by treating each other properly. It is not the school. What's wrong with our schools? They're trying to be families. They can't. They're there to educate. Families and parents need to teach their children you don't bully, you don't spit on people, you don't go around flattening tires, you don't take something that's not your own. That is a parent's rule. And we need to tell children, you don't need to be having children when you're a child. You're lost right there. And how many children have children? Far too many. So how do we stop that? Those are things that are all in our future. Binders and bookcases do nothing. Whatever you're involved in, look at how you can help get results. We count on it in the city. We have a great team of people. All of us are flawed and we know that we make mistakes, but I can guarantee you that the people that have been in the city for at least a year, they are a team of people that are unusually well educated in their field, devoted to what they do, and worth every penny that they're underpaid, because we cannot pay them enough for the devotion and humanitarian skills and professional skills that they have. So looking at the fact of the time right now, I am going to take where I am supposed to be. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes. Oh, since he's the boss, he gets that, right?
I'm the boss. So the Moulin Rouge land sold.
Yes,
to
thank
someone
heavens.
that's well financed. Do you know what's going on there?
No, because they're having meetings. No, and I have to tell you, if they were smart, I tried to sell the people that were representing Dottie's, the little casinos, because they were in a position, because they had a gaming license, to rebuild the Moulin Rouge. It was so popular. Oscar and I used to go there. It was great. And that was at a time when the city was segregated and Sammy Davis couldn't get a room or whatever. But over there, it was so mixed. There were as many white people there as there were Asian, Latino, and Black. So, but I think I answered your question.
Madam Mayor, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us here today.
No, you're my time. I love it. I just love it. We're people together. But
We're having a meeting.
I love meetings. Binders.
You may be interested to know that our speaker in 2 weeks is the head of the Las Vegas Pandemic Force. He runs the respite/hospit down there for all the homeless folks downtown. 2 weeks from today might be something you'd be interested in.
No, I can assure you, having been to Cashman, knowing what we've set up,
Mhm.
the most beautifully run, well done, impossible task, set up in a 2.5 week time frame from absolute flat nothing to functioning in this catastrophe.
And he might be a good
God
question.
bless you. Please
Yeah.
give him or her a astounding round of applause. Carolyn Levering's very involved.
Yeah, he may be a good guest for your TV show. My question is, I'd heard that they were literally going to block off Las Vegas Boulevard from like New York, down to the Wind to traffic and make that entirely foot traffic. Is that true?
Anything that you hear could be true. I mean, you're hearing about the Boring Company, and they have never completed one project anywhere in the country. And you're hearing they're going to connect us to the airport. Do you know that 450,000 vehicles a day go through the spaghetti bowl? 450,000. So let's assume one person in every car every single day. We are moving people 4 in a Tesla car every 30 seconds. We could do it in one tunnel. For anybody who's been in the Holland Tunnel or Lincoln Tunnel in New York, which is one lane, and you get stuck, you're under the Hudson River or the East River. To answer your question, let that suffice.
Over here, Mayor. Hello, my name is Veronica Scala. You actually were my guidance counselor over 20 years ago when I was in high school at the Meadows. And I was just thinking, I never thought I would be sitting here today, and you probably, when I was 16, never thought
No,
I would
remember
be
your
here
name. Yes,
today.
I do. And well, of
Veronica
course, you're a grown-up, lovely lady
Scala.
now.
Thank
Look
you.
at
But
Yay, Meadows.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I now work in addiction and mental health, so I want to know what organizations I can get involved in on the volunteer side to assist with the addiction side with your homeless.
Absolutely. Call Kathy Thomas down at the city or call the mayor's office. We'll hook you up without question. We are so involved in that. I sat on Mike O'Callahan's Drug and Alcohol Abuse Council for as long as he was governor. Very devoted to that. So here's another place. Another one is Dr. Miriam Adelson. You might give her a call if she's back in town. What a fabulous, talented lady, and so devoted to that whole population. Proud of you. Wow.
Thank you again, Mayor. Every day we hear about, all the time, defunding the police. We don't hear that here, but I'd certainly like to hear your comments and perspective on what's going on here.
Well, just very briefly, I meet with Sheriff Lombardo. Well, always have. Just Oscar was involved with his predecessor. So we're a tight community. And the first thing before anything else, even before health, is safety. You will never find people to live in a community it isn't safe. So that most of the funding, when you divide up the pie of the city budget and probably county budget and every budget, is safety. And so to me, what we're about is, and Joe Lombardo will tell you all the time, they're constantly reevaluating. So accidents, or every once in a while you get a lemon in any area that has another agenda. But what they do philosophically and try to do is keep people safe, keep property safe, help those that need help, and constantly reevaluate all the time so they're an effective, safe part of our community. For us, we have just increased funding. So, I mean, you've got personnel. In fact, what Sheriff Lombardo wanted to have 2 law enforcement per 1,000. And by the budget that's created for next year, that will happen. It's people can accuse people of anything. You know that. And it's the facts. As I said, I know what I know. When I don't know and I can't answer you, you have to find out the answer. That's a very critical question in this day and age. But as you know, when Oregon was suffering so badly and the cause of Mr. Lloyd's death, all of that is absolutely horrific, awful. Anything that is abuse of power, and I wasn't there, so unless you're there and you can speak to something that you know and you have the facts, then you're in a point of position. But I love our law enforcement. We have their backs. They have our backs. And if there's a mistake, then we've elected the wrong person doing the wrong thing, and they need to atone for their sins, and we need to get them out. But the reality is we're looking in our cities from our marshals. They are our law enforcement, but they also help in the detention facilities. They have so many jobs. And law enforcement here, it's critical in this day when there's so many issues of crime, that we make sure that we're working together. And they're working in our communities to make it feel among all of us as citizens that they're with us. They're part of us. They go home at night too, and they're citizens. So if there are flaws, we've got to find out what they are. But Joe Lombardo and his staff, and if he's going to run again, I don't know. Whoever is going to be sheriff needs to be accountable to the whole public, but also not just being accused and accused and accused, and they don't have the facts. This community is very different. We can't speak for another community, but I can assure you right here, this evaluation is ongoing all the time and retraining. So I should be very proud of our law enforcement.
Yeah. I wanted to share with you the impact that Oscar has had on my family. We moved here from the Marshall Islands. He was the Grand Marshal of the parade in Boulder City. He asked my daughter, who was 7 years old, to ride with him. From that moment forward, every single time I ran into your husband, no matter where it was, he would come up to me and say, "How's your daughter?" I could not believe that. I met him just once when he asked to take my daughter on that parade, and every single time I ran into him, he was the one who came to me and said, "How's your daughter?"
Well, I want you
amazing.
over at my house tomorrow morning. You clap for him. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. This is so exciting to have us back together, enjoying each other. You're a wonderful group. You do so much for our community. I thank you. Please, thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's right here. Okay, Mayor, real quick. We have one little certificate we'd like to award you. It's the Share What You Can award that we give to all of our speakers. So thank you very much for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
Yay! Great. Okay, we have just a little bit of business. I don't want to keep you too long. One of my goals of mayor, I'm not running for mayor, I promise. Oh my goodness. As president-elect is to try and keep the discussion short and the fellowship long. So we have some announcements. Marie Walsh, are you online still? Can you talk about the next breakfast with books? Okay. Unmute yourself, Marie. Let's see. Well,
Okay, sorry. I don't have any numbers to give you this week, but I can only tell you that the children are doing well in school and still getting books to take home to add to their library. But I will keep you informed of any new numbers that we might have. But we're going forward and things look very good.
great. Thank you very much. Jim Hunt, while you're up there, we see your beautiful face on the screen.
Hello, Mr. President-elect. The only thing to report since last week is we've delivered 3 more wheelchairs, so we're now in the 80s, heading towards 90 and hopefully 100 before we know it. So we're doing well. John Williams continues to get more chairs in, more wheelchairs. He's getting a shipment of them coming in from LA in about a week and a half, and that'll be hundreds more wheelchairs. So we'll be doing this for a while. Keep spreading the word, please.
Great. Everybody, yeah, we need your help. If you know of people that need wheelchairs, good quality wheelchairs, let us know. Okay, Jim Cole, do you have a quick report? Oh, not at the board meeting you said in your email, sorry. Okay, no report there. We're still selling face masks. And if you buy a face mask or a license plate, you get a free pin. So don't forget that. All of the board members, raise your hand, of this year and next year. Okay. All of us are required to be at our district assembly. It's an online virtual meeting next Tuesday, so don't forget that. Thank you very much. And then the incoming board members, we need the rest of your subcommittee assignments. So please contact everybody who was there before. Bill Houghton. Sarah, can you go over to Bill? Okay.
Hey, thank you, PE Mike. Not related necessarily to the Rotary Club, but as the Director of Youth Advocacy and Education for our community, the Science Festival, which is anchored by the Las Vegas Natural History Museum downtown, is holding our event this year. We're hoping for an attendance of 65,000, but we really need to get the word out. It's going to be the 23rd through the 30th of April. It's all online. And our keynote speaker is actually Time Magazine's first Child of the Year, a 15-year-old who's going to be zooming in from across the ocean to be part of our festival here in Las Vegas. So scifest.vegas, and really tell your kids, your grandkids, your neighbors, everybody about it. And it's free.
Okay, great. Great. Okay, time for the raffle. You have any other announcements that I've missed? Okay, Rose Falaco, I'm sorry. I think she has 2 now that I think about it.
Well, you were doing good, Mr. PE, until you forgot me.
Okay.
I have a couple of announcements. One is for the debunking party, June 24th. Please put it on your calendars. However, it's been changed from my home to wonderful Bob Warner's estate.
Oh, that's a great
Yes, I'm in
place.
the middle of construction and remodeling, and it's not going to be ready. So you will have a lot more fun at his house than my little house in northern Arizona / Lake Las Vegas.
Got it.
Wait, one more. And 25 club meeting, May the 6th. Mark your calendars for that. The location will be announced, and we'll be doing a raffle again to benefit the canned food drive. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Got your tickets handy? Thomas, you could grab mine too, if you wouldn't mind. Watch them. Okay. We have, I'm going to just read the last three digits, 356. 2349356. Thor. Okay. Yay.
This is the first time in 8 years I've gotten my number called. So I'm going to the casino after this.
Okay.
Okay. Oh! I got jacked up.
Got it. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm not sure. $10. Okay. What's the next card? What's the next number for then? Lowry bucks. Here we go. 2 Lowry gift cards. And we have last 4 digits, 9228. 9228. Okay. Oh, come on up. I'm a rookie. I just give her these, right? Okay, thanks for your patience. Appreciate you being here. Wasn't that a great program? Okay, with that, adjourned.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good week, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Hello, goodbye.
Hello, goodbye. Thank you, Judy.
Hi, everybody. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for including me.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.